it's not too dark at the background also. We are sitting actually in the garden. You have Tapavana Katha.
Very nice background, Mataji.
Step back to listen your home and enjoy the lawn.
Yes, so we want to have the Tapavana feeling where we Naimisharanya sitting and there is no Ganga here, but at least to have some experience of outdoor as we have to listen. That's how our rishis listen. So without much delay and let us just start off. So today's topic that it was awarded to me, it was an award because to talk about such great personalities like Kunti Mata and Bhishma Pitamaha, only qualified people are, given such topics to discuss. But somehow by Krishna's arrangement, I have taken up the responsibility and a challenge actually to talk about such on discuss or to share with you everybody about how glorious these personalities are who are nobody but the pure devotees of Sri Krishna and how relentlessly and without ananyas chintento mam, they are the real example of without any deviation, without any expectations, they were just surrendered souls, the pure souls of devotees of Krishna and very, very dear to Krishna also. Not only that, not only they were devotees of Krishna, but they also made sure that people around them also became devotees of Krishna. And Queen Kunti, Mother Kunti is a classic example where she got her sons also to be devotees of Krishna, and the entire her daughter-in-law Draupadi and the entire dynasty where Kunti belonged to under the shelter of Bhishma Pitamaha, they were all equivocally serving with one pointed attention to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So let us start with the Kunti prayers, and today is the topic of from the first canto, chapter 8, where Kunti vividly discusses or glorifies Krishna through her wonderful prayers. So the situation, just setting the scene, Ashwatthama is now humiliated, like he's been given a humiliation worse than a death. He is not killed upon the pleading of Draupadi that you cannot kill a Dvijabandhu, and just as how I would be suffering from the loss of my sons, how will Gautami be suffering when she loses her son? So don't kill her. Although she they avenged the death and they wanted to take revenge on Ashwatthama for making this barbaric act, the heinous act of killing the Upapandavas. They were both Arjuna and Bhishma were ready to kill and to satisfy Draupadi's feelings, but then by Krishna's instructions, equivocal instruction, Ashwatthama was delivered without being killing. He was humiliated as equal to death. At this point, after that episode happened, so thereafter the Pandavas, they decided to go to, the entire family enters into the Ganges to sanctify themselves. Of course, the presence of the Lord constantly with them also was a purifying effect, but as a matter of ritual, they and what the scriptures say, still they accepted and followed the all the samskaras, and they did all the rites in the Ganges, as Ganga is the purest water, and she gets purified because she emanates from the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Therefore, she was the appropriate river chosen to thus purify the people, and moreover, because they were doing the last rites for all those people who were dead, their near loved ones, their near ones, the dead ones, and all those people who lost their lives in the as a result of the Kurukshetra war. So having lamented, and they were lamenting, and therefore, and at this time, even Gandhari and Dhritarashtra were all sitting together. At that same time also, Krishna was totally present. So even at good times, at bad times, Krishna is always present with the pure devotees. He never leaves them and goes. Like how we know a story, like always the man was telling, as he got an opportunity to talk with the Lord, he says, always during the good times, I see that you're always there. As he was walking on the beach, he was just, dreaming. And he says, I'm walking on the beach, I can always see the footprints. And whenever there are good times, I can see another pair of footprints walking with me. And I know, my dear Lord, it is you. But when I am getting into difficult times, I I don't see you at all. I just see one pair of footprints that's walking on the shore. And what is it? You are never there with me when I'm in difficult. That time the Lord said, oh my dear person, oh my dear devotee, it is not your pair of feet, it is my feet. I am lifting you. So if the Lord carries our burden also, ananyas chintento mami janaha paripasati tesham nityabhiktanam yogakshemam maham. He gives what we lack and carries what we have. He carries our trouble also. So the Lord was present there, and thus they were just mulling. I mean, they just it was a situation of very deep grief and guiltiness that Yudhishthir felt, that because of the fight, the animosity between two families, so many innocent people had to die, so many wives lost their husbands, so many families distorted. What am I going to do at this point of time? However, after Krishna pacified them with comforting words, he was just preparing, asking Dharuka, get ready, we shall proceed back to Dwaraka from Hastinapura. At that moment, Uttara comes running, and she comes running, crying out with a beautiful verse, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin, Deva Deva Jagatpate, Nanyam Twadaham Pashe, Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. So at that moment, Ashwatthama just, even then he was so barbaric. He wanted to even finish that last progeny of the Pandavas, and that progeny was growing in the womb of Uttara, who is nobody but the wife of Abhimanyu, while Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna and Draupadi. So at this moment, when Uttara was bearing this child which was growing in her womb, she comes running to Krishna and all the other people, Arjuna, Bhishma, Yudhishthir, and all the kinsmen were present there. Though they raised their weapons to protect that Uttara, she's saying, my womb is burning, Krishna, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin. So he is the embodiment of the yogis. So many yogis from so many siddhis, this siddhi, that siddhi, to become lighter than the feather, heavier than the mountain, or walk on the water. But here the Lord, he is the master of the yogis, being present there in front of all of them personally. Immediately he raises his hand, and then he raises his Sudarshana Chakra, but eventually, though being present in front of them, immediately by his internal potency, he expands and enters into the womb of Uttara, protecting the child. How does the child is seeing that beautiful vision in the embryo in Uttara's stomach, is seeing the beautiful vision of the Lord as Angushta Unam, the size of a thumb, which was blackish in color and with a jeweled crown and a yellow, a red garment. And the Lord was just protecting, and immediately nullify the effects of the Brahmahastra that was released by Ashwatthama to kill the last progeny of Parikshit. At that moment, everybody was just astounded. They were shocked. What happened? So this is how Parikshit was called Parikshit, because he was doing Parikshay after coming out of the Uttara stomach. He was searching for the same beautiful figure of that blackish hue and that bright yellow crown, and he was looking, therefore, because he was doing Parikshay, he is called Parikshit. And one more name for Parikshit is, he is also called Vishnurataha, because he was protected by Sri Krishna himself. So he's being protected in the womb by Uttara, he's called. So this is the situation that happened at that moment. Having completed even that task, now Krishna was getting ready to move forward to go Dwaraka, because his task is accomplished. At that moment, Kunti just stays back, and he said, Krishna, please, don't go. Why are you going now? So she starts to, and one of the beautiful, and this is how she begins to utter such beautiful verses, such poetic verses glorifying the Supreme Lord. So this is one of the instructions that we have to know, that praying is very important. And how are we praying? So what do we mean by prayer? So prayer is the connection to lift our heart, to lift our mind, to ask, to show to the Lord that we are invisible. We are weak. We are weak, and you are the great Lord, and we are humbly surrendered to you, because you are the only one who can protect. Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. The Lord who can protect us from this most fearful thing is death. And the Lord is the one. Rake Krishna Mare Krishna, Rake Krishna Mare ke. If Krishna wants to protect somebody, who can kill that person? And if Krishna wants to kill that person, who can protect that person? So therefore, our prayers are so uplifting that it makes us humble. The way Kunti started to pray, she was in a very humble mode status. No, she was the aunt, the brother, she was related, she was the bua. What do you say? It was Krishna's father's sister is Kunti Maharani. So this is the prayer. So those sometimes people pray for the sake of material desires, or we pray to thank the Lord, or when we pray when we're in a very remorseful, when we are very sad, and when we are very happy. So there are different kinds of prayer, but this prayer of Kunti Maharani is so beautiful. It was a thanking prayer, and her prayer is something that is very revolutionary prayer that nobody could even attempt to do it. And then we are going to just go through those prayers of Kunti Maharani, how beautifully she just invites the Lord to stay back, to hold down. So she starts with the very verse. How she calls the Lord. Kunti Vacha. So these verses of Kunti Stuti begins, and Prabhupada has given a special importance to this book, and there is a separate book released by the beautiful commentary written by Prabhupada. So therefore, her prayers are very, very important, and she begins with the punch, with the prayer. Kunti, who's praying, who is this God? Who are you, Krishna? You are the supreme God who's standing in front of me, though you are my nephew. But how does she pray? Namaste Purusham Twadhyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. She says, I offer my respectful obeisances unto this original personality of Godhead, Ishwara. So she addresses him as the Ishwara. So he is not that normal boy, this boy who's just standing, my nephew. He is not a very superhuman boy, but he's the supreme controller who's staying, and he is the Swayam Purusha. So this is the Lord who's not just standing here confronting us, trying to protect us from every time not doing something that is very magical or anything, but he is the Swayam controller. Everything works under his control, and he is executing as per his wishes. And we are all there as instruments, as puppets, dancing according to his wishes. So he controls, he knows what is going to happen in the past, present, and the future. And Rishikesha, the controller of the senses. So therefore, just by praying, that uttering those words, beginning with the very heavy words of using Namam, Namasye Purusham Twa Adhyam. So Twa Adhyam, the original Ishvara, you are the original Ishvara. So how? And therefore how she goes to pray is, she doesn't pray as though she is so very proud about her grammatical flow of language, and she says Katam Pashe Mahi Striyaha. She humbles herself. I don't know much about you, Krishna. Like a woman like me, what can I understand about you? Tata Paramahamsanam. You are more visible to the Paramahamsas, but I know you very less, Krishna. I know you only simple words like Ishvara and Purusha and Rishikesha. What can I know about you? Tata Paramahamsana Muninam Amalatmanam. Like how even there's a beautiful same type of shloka. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Suvanti Divyaihi Savaihi Gayanti Sanga Padakrama Upanishadaihi Vedaihi Upanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagama Dhyanavastita Tatkateena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yam Na Vidu Yasyantam Na Viduhu Sura Asura Devaya Namastupyam. You are not visible even to those yogis, and how people worship you with Samagaha and the Padakramas and Upanishads and Vedas. People can't understand, devotees can't, even the Devas or leave the Asuras. But how can the people understand? Such are, you are so, not so possible to be approached, understand. But yet, what am I? I'm just a small woman here trying to praise you. Thank you for all that you have given us. So, therefore, Krishna was getting, oh my God, sometimes when you praise, you get a bit embarrassed. So, she was seeing the face of Krishna as he was feeling embarrassed, or maybe he wasn't very impressed with those high-fi words of praises, Ishvara, Purusha, Rishikesha, and all of that. So immediately she could understand the mood of Krishna. But I know being a humble woman, I know only to call you as Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranatah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So therefore she says, I'm just calling you with simple names. allegiance Krishnaya Vasudevaya. So she doesn't want to give up her family relationship. You are nobody, but you are just my brother. You are her son, Vasudeva's son, and therefore she was so happy to take that relationship, and he liked that. Krishna actually loves to be called in these names, Krishnaya Vasudeva. Vasudeva son is Vasudeva, so Devaki Nandan. So Krishna loves to be addressed, like even he loves to be addressed even with a simple funny name like Chitta Chor and Ranachor, and this beautiful shlong, Soraha Ganyam, Bhaje Prasiddham Navanita Chauram Gopangananam Buddha Prasiddha Chauram 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 Chauram. So he likes to call even Chauram. He likes to be called as though he is, he loves all this interaction with his devotees. The simple names really make him feel very, very happy. So to that Supreme Lord Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane. So here Kunti is bringing about the Vatsalya Bhava. So this is one of the mellows that Krishna relishes a lot. She is showing the Vatsalya Bhava, and then he is the enlivener of the cow and the senses. This is what is greatness about Krishna. He loves the cows. He loves his activities about just taking care of the cows, playing with the gopas, playing with the gopis, and this is what he was doing. So being this situated, then Nama. So how can we remember the Supreme Lord? How to remember you? And you are easily accessible for devotees who are totally surrendered, who are thinking about you. But sometimes Kunti brings about another verse, how he is also not possible, which I'll be touching in later. So therefore, how do we remember you? So this is the best way. How do we constantly remember you? This is how this, Kunti is now bringing that revolutionary shloka in her, that she says, Visham Dripadaha Santutaha Shashwat Tatra Tatra Jagatguru Bhavato Darshanam Yatsyat Apunar Bhava Darshanam. So it is from the shloka number, the very important shloka of which we will endure us also to endure these troubles. This is the shloka which has to give us. Of course, we all don't have the capacity or the strength like in Kunti, who just did not undergo little tribulations, little small COVID, coronavirus tribulations, but she underwent right from her young age. She's been having challenges after challenges, but her attraction towards, her devotion towards Krishna did not vanish. So Vipadaha Santutaha Shashwat. Please keep giving me this miseries every time, Krishna, because I like it. So I hope I'm trying to cope up with that time. Let us see. So therefore she just prays that just give me that wonderful tribulation, so that I will be able to take pray, remember you always. And she was just saying that why are you trying to leave me and go when there are so much of enmity always existing in within our with the kings around us. So from this she was not just saying that she did not want Krishna to mistake, don't leave us and go, because I want you always to be with me, and you, so that you always keep protective. She didn't want to prove herself that as though she said she wanted to, though that's a good way of keeping Krishna close to her. She didn't want to make Krishna to always be using him to just keep on protecting her. So therefore, just she was not. She feels that on the contrary, she just prays that just give me those troubles so that my remembrance is always there. So there, and what are the tribulations she had to undergo? This is just not one or two, but the amount of tribulation she had to face. Vishan Mahatme, Yata Rishikena. So just even not that Krishna, it's not that you also didn't go through any troubles. Yes, you also being the controller, the Lord of the Lords, you also had to be imprisoned. You were born in the prison, and you had to release your mother Devaki, so who was distressed by King Kamsa. So even as, and not only you had danger, similarly like how we had to undergo dangers, even you had some problems, but you did, of course, you helped Devaki and Vasudev to come out all these problems very swiftly and easily. So many problems you resolved. You saved us. Vishan Mahagnehe Purushada Darshana Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrataha Prete Mride Aneka Maharata Stratho Rauni Astrataschasma Hare Abhirakshita. Shloka number 24 says that, my dear, your lordship was protected us from the poisoned plague, the great fire, from the cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from the sufferings during our exile in the forest, and the great war, and the last but not the least, from the astra, and the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama. So what else have you not done? You've done everything that we didn't even expect, but you were always there, even uncalled for. You were always present there to help us. So how can we be thankful to you, please? So therefore, as Prabhupada says, we have to surrender without any reservation. So like how Draupadi Vastraharan happened, she was holding to the Vastraharan, but the minute she released her hands and called for Govinda and completely showed the mode of surrender, Krishna was there supplying insurmountable bales and bales of cloth to protect the mana of things. So that is how Bhakti Vinod Thakur also saying, Manasa deho geho yo kechu mora arpilum tuya pada nanda kishora. So he says, Manasa Deha. So we have to have that mode of surrender to surrender our mind, our body, everything to Krishna. And Mora Arpilum Tuya Pada Nandakisha. We have to get that mode like how Kunti, because she surrendered everything to Krishna. She knew that Krishna will take care of everything. So therefore she had actually saw these tribulations like how like a small water that is contained in the hoof print of a calf. Like that's a beautiful shloka. Samashrita ye pada pallava plavam mahatpadam punya yesho murarehi. So all those big problems, when you that looks like an ocean, but the minute we surrender to Krishna, looks like a small water that is contained in the hoof print of a calf. So that is how Krishna makes it so simple and small, because their lives are not at stake. Every time he protected the Pandavas and Krishna. So, but in this point, is Krishna God very partial? Is Krishna partial to only to the Pandavas? No. So that therefore, Kunti goes to say, yes, sometimes it might appear the Lord is partial. Whom is she partial? To whom is the Lord partial to? He is partial to those people, Yedamana Madah Puman, those who are maddened by Janma, Aishwarya, Shrutaha, Shribi, all the wealth. So those who are maddened by birth, opulence, education, possession of beauty, the economic development. So therefore, such people, it is not that Krishna is partial to them. Krishna may not be visible to them because they are maddened by such kama, artha, kama, moksha, not moksha, artha and kama is what they all want. So they are not able to see maya javani kachannam ajnadokshajam avyayam na lakshyase mooda drisha nato natya dharoyata. It is said in the second verse, verse number 19, how Krishna puts a curtain which is invisible to the people who's maddened by such Janma, Aishya, Shruta, Shribi, so people cannot see the greatness of the Lord. So therefore there's a curtain that is put, Nato Natya Dharo Yata, like how when we are, beautiful analogy she gives, like a parable, like how the person who is on the movie screen, we don't know who he is really, but we just see him as a simple hero, or just by what character he's holding in the movie. So that is how the Lord becomes not possible to touch the prince. But as she says, Samam Charanta Sarvatra. So he is but equal to everybody. It is not that he likes only the devotees, Pandavas, and he does not like the Kauravas. No. No, he does not have any specific favor, no specific object of envy, as she says in one of the shloka, na yasya karshit dhaito asti karhichit. So he does not have. So like how different devotees see him in a different way, he reacts according to them accordingly. Like gopya kamat bhayat kamso Desha Chaidyadayo Nripaha Sambandha Drishnaya Snehat Yuyam Bhaktya Vayam Vibhu. So if the gopis, they see Krishna, how do they approach Krishna? They worship Krishna with lusty desire, while Kamsa with fear and Shishupala and other things with envy, the Yadus with their familial relationship, and the Pandavas with great affection, they worship Krishna. And the great generals, by your devotional service, have obtained the mercy of Krishna. how Krishna gives us mercy, and that we cannot condemn. We cannot condemn you that you are partial only to devotees, Krishna. So that is how she says. Because sometimes people, avajananti mamuda manushim tanumashatam. Yes, when Krishna comes like a human-like form, people avajananti mam, people, foolish people don't understand the greatness, how God is great, because they have, and because sometimes his leelas are incomprehensible. So, being the original source, the vital source, you descend among the animals, the aquatics, the among the sages, and among the humans, and among the yeah, other show, even the rishis and the sages, and so many people you come along them. So many avatars that Krishna took, people cannot perceive that he, because of his incomprehensible pastimes, they're not able to know who the Supreme Lord is. And I don't mind. And people, sometimes devotees also think that they, and you're also worshipped as you are unborn. Still you appear and take birth. Ajaha. People call you are Ajaha. But then still you take birth. Apare Vasudevasya, Apare Devakya Vasudevasya. So it's a very beautiful shloka in shloka number 33. Yeah. Once again. Shloka 33. Yeah. I just go on. So you, yeah. Oh, sorry. So people, so you appear with, sometimes it might look misleading that you appear in so many ways and so many, and you do so many pastimes, but I'll just come to there. But yet, and people, some people think that you are Ajaha, you don't have any birth, but you seem to be born as a normal child, where Devaki is born, where Devaki Abhyagat, Yachito Abhyagat, she prayed that you please be born to me. So it appears as though she was born in, he was born to Devaki. So, but this is how, like how, this is how you are. And sometimes you are, perplexing. Your pastimes are so bewildering that Gopyatati, Tvai Kritagasi Dhamatavat. So many devotees try to praise you, that they see you that your pastimes are so bewildering to me, even to Yashoda, how you made her get petrified and angry against you. You are the Swayam Bibeti, you are the one who drives away the fear, but here you appear to be so feared by the anger notes of Yashoda Maya, and you had to be bound by ropes. How is that possible? So then, although, so however, you have come here. So whatever your pastimes are, though it is not understandable, I don't mind, I don't care. But the only thing that I am very confident is that you have come as like how Brahma prayed, that you always take birth like to reduce the burden of the earth, as prayed by Brahma, like the earth is dancing on the middle of the ocean without any proper protection, like the bird, Bhuvo Nava Ivadado. So that's how you come here to release the burden of the thing. So as we go on, and then what is so more than that, not only you relieve the burden of the earth and the devotees, but then you also come to uplift dharma. Krishna talks in Bhagavad Gita. So how he says, "Yadharmasya glanir bhavati Bharata." Similarly, this is the same shloka that Kunti also chants here, that you have come not only to remove the burden of the thing, yet you have come here to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on. All the 9 devotional services. Shravana Smarani Karishyani Iti Kechana. That's why you come here to revive those qualities. We keep forgetting Mandaha, so Mandamateya, Mandabhagya hi Upadritaha. You have come here to revive all those qualities of you. So then what is our value? What is the purpose of our human life if we do not understand your greatness, Krishna? So that nandanti tavehitam janaha. एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकं भव प्रभा उपहरणं पदाम्बुजम्. So, O Krishna, those who continuously hear and chant and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. So, this is that you should continuously hear, chant and repeat your transcendental qualities. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also brings through his Shashtakam, that every time we should have, you've invested all your transcendental energies in that names. So this is a beautiful shloka. How which shloka is that? Na dhanam na nam nam akari bahuda nija sarva shakti. So much of power is invested in that name without any rules and regulations. How is that my mind is not thinking of chanting your name? Hari Hari Tifale Janam Gunano Manusya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Nabajiya Janiya Vishaya Bisha Kainu. Knowing that I'm still drinking the poison of this material life, not understanding the glories of your name. What is the value if you don't of a human life if you don't know how to surrender to you? We don't use our ears, our senses to glorify your name and always keep thinking of your name. So this is why Krishna, she's very emphatic to say that we have to hear you, otherwise what is our value? Evayam Nama Rupa, what is the use of this body and fame that we get, the opulence that we have in this material life if you are not able to surrender to you? Therefore Krishna is aware that Krishna, so she's making a point to make us understand whatever your pastimes are, however you've been glorified or the people don't understand you, but please make sure that we are able to understand you and chant your names properly, hear your pastimes again and again, and revive that smaranti, grinanti. We have to absorb that names in ourselves and always relish in your pastimes. So Krishna, please, because the very name is so auspicious, the very presence of your here makes it so auspicious that don't leave us and go when there is so much of enmity in us. She was feeling shy as though she's holding Krishna just for she wants something in return for Krishna, and she was just saying that everything is auspicious around here. Because why we are seeing that auspicious is she's thanking God that the nature, the bountiful nature that is there, the kingdom is flourishing, is all because of your footprints and your glance over them. Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam. Sorry, this is the next shloka. I'm just coming to that. So, so he says, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet. It appears so beautiful but when you leave, it will no longer be so. So she has the viraha tapam, which means that our heart should have the footprints, the lotus feet of Krishna should be always embedded in our heart, in our minds, like how the gopis prayed. So every time that feeling of presence of Paramatma should be there, so that otherwise it will be like desert, like a desert without any greenery, like no opulence, no thing, like how she describes, like all the cities and villages are flourishing. So the presence of the Lord with us will flourish. So physically and psychologically we will be in good health. We always keep the thought of Krishna and his pastimes in our mind, and our heart fully filled with the names of Sri Krishna. So this is what is called the full surrender. So this is what she puts it to all together. So you are nobody but Ata Vishweshwana Vishwatmana. You are the soul of the universe. You are the personality of the form of the universe. May my tie of affection for my kinsmen be severed. So the Pandavas and the Rishis. So she wants to make sure, but she is asking such of that attachment to the Pandavas be severed, but all of them are devotees of Krishna's, like how Prabhupada in his purport in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he says attachment to the family should not be looked upon down, that the wife and children or family is a distraction for them, but the point is to bring everybody into Krishna consciousness and dovetail our attachment just to the sensual objects, but make our object of attraction as Sri Krishna. So this is how Prabhupada is beautifully said. Now we are all learning Bhakti Shastri, so getting more familiar with the chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So this is how Krishna, Kunti is bringing that attachment, the severe, the unnecessary attachment of bodily attraction to my son, but to my children. But I need that attachment to be always on you constantly. And how? And this is the word, prayer, word, learning. त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर मधुपते असकृत रतिम उद्वहता दद्धा गंगे वौगम उदन्वति. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganga flows to the sea without hindrance, let my constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. This is the punchline, that the attention should not be diverted to anybody else. Just Krishna is perfectly all right. He's the like how because the old Lord of Madhupate, so he's the killer of the Madhu demon. So let him kill the unnecessary doubts in our head, and let my attraction be only towards you. So this is a very beautiful shloka that she concludes the entire Kunti Stuti, which is worth always remembering. So therefore, Shri Krishna Sakhi, Vrishni Rishabhavani Drga, Rajanya Vamsha Dahana, Apavarga, Virya, Govinda, Godvija Surari, Haravatara, Yogeshwara, Akila Guru, Bhagavan Namaste. So this is the beautiful words, Akila Guru, Bhagavan Namaste. You are our Guru. So let me offer my respectful obeisances to this Almighty God. So if at all we have to understand how powerful is God, or how God is great, just by chanting these beautiful verses from verses 18 to verses 43 of Kunti Stuti, will easily Krishna will open up our doubts. And like how we chant in our Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, Tesham eva anukampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepeshana pashata. Just by chanting these verses of Kunti is enough that all that the hidden, the darkness in our heart is dispelled by Krishna automatically lighting that lamp of spiritual knowledge within us to make him understand how great is God. So having said, glorify this, Krishna was getting prepared to. So this is the beautiful glories of Kunti. Just by simple illuminating, she gives the simple words, the illuminating words, and we can see that her verses have so much of philosophical meaning. And till today, even the great acharyas keep repeating and chanting these verses with so much of it opens up our heart. And that spontaneous glorification of Krishna is something that is very commendable by Kunti, that she did not prepare a note, but she was just by the looking at the Lord, everything outpoured. The the gratitude she shows was so beautiful that it is just. It shows the steep love and affection for Krishna. It had that bottom line of her prayers had that much of wisdom in us to kindle that wisdom, the lost relationship with us in us for Krishna. So it's worth chanting her prayers every day. And maybe some of our Matajis already know it by heart, and probably if Krishna willing, I can even record it and send it. So as we are trending from Kunti, now the great personality comes into the scene, which is who is nobody but Bhishma. So I am going to take 15 minutes more extra. I hope it's okay, because there are two great personalities. It was too overwhelming for me to talk less about them, nor should I overstep talking more about them, because we have a limited timeline. But it is in very interesting topics that I always relished while I was reading. Also, every time I read, so many new things appear in front of us, and come and Krishna opens up and gives in, pours in more knowledge, shines more knowledge within us, and it is all by the glory and wonderful commentaries of Srila Prabhupada, that's where we are able to relish. And of course, we are getting more familiar because it is all the basic foundation that was laid by my father-in-law, Shiva Lab's father. That's how we are able to today. What we are today is because purely of there's such great personalities who are influenced in our life to understand who, in a small, in a minuscule, who this Krishna is. So what happened now? Kunti is all ready to leave. She says, "Don't go. Why do you want to leave? There is already so much of animosity here. Please rest here for some time. Take some rest and go." And therefore, the Lord decides to stay back in that moment, Bhishma is already wounded. He is on his deathbed. So Krishna knows his plans. He has his plans. So he withdraws from going to Dwaraka. And therefore, when they were all ready, the entire family was ready to pay the last rites for Bhishma. At that moment, Yudhishthir goes to call Lord Krishna, and he saw Krishna deeply meditating. And Indra, Yudhishthira was like perplexed, amazed. He was so curious. We are the ones who have to meditate on you, and I'm so surprised that whom are you meditating upon? So immediately Krishna said, the minute he came out of his meditation, he said, I'm always meditating on my devotees. Aham vasami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshuva. I don't remember stay in the Vaikuntha, now do I stay in the hearts of those yogis who are trying to understand me. Tatra tishnami narada. I try to be there when yet mat bhaktaha yatra gayantik. I stay there where my devotees always thinks about me, always glorifies me. I'm always amidst of them. Ahutaiva me shigram, as like how Srivalla Prabhu said in his previous topic, as though call for Krishna is always there. Close to us. Even now, I'm sure the presence of the Lord should be intensely felt because we are all listening to the glories of the Lord with rapt attention. So this is how Bhishma and all of them goes to visit to pay their last rites, their last gratitude to Bhishma, who is Vastu Uttamaha, the best of the Vasus, Vasu Uttamaha. So this is where the Bhishma, who's nobody, was a great personality, and he was the family head of the entire Kuru dynasty, and he was a great. Not only that he was a great devotee, but he and a friend. And he always loved the Pandavas better, and he also liked his daughter-in-law Kunti a lot because she lost her husband, she lost her co-sister, and with the 5 children, they were by the colossal clique. They were fabricated plans were made there where they were destined to send into the wilderness, into the exile, to suffer all the tribulations. So he always had, but he was quite helpless, but he knew that Krishna is always there to protect them. So he always had a soft corner, very affectionate, and the most affectionate grandson was Arjuna. So therefore, and he was always a caretaker at any point of time. So at this time, what happened. So, but Bhishma was very sincerely and sympathetic well-wisher to the Pandavas, and therefore similarly, as much as Bhishma loved the Pandavas, even Yudhishthir and Pandavas, the entire family had great respect and awe and reverence for Bhishma, and they loved Bhishma Pitamaha. So they were just going to pay the last rites for Bhishma, who was just going to about to leave the body. He was waiting for whom? He was waiting for that Supreme Lord who was waiting on his pure devotee Bhishma to come and stand in front of him. So this is how they were all waiting and just going closer to the deathbed. And who and all came at that moment when Bhishma was lying on the deathbed. So many. He was just not only surrounded by the family members, but Chris like Narada, Bharatarshava, Bharadwaja, Parashuram was there. Bhishma, Atri, Shukadev Goswami, every not get up capacity to invite etiquette, but just by beautiful words and close by, and just he was waiting for the Supreme Lord, and then the Lord appeared in front of him, and he is, he knew he was glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the universe, who is also situated within the heart, Hridistam, and also manifest his transcendental form by his internal potency. So seeing the Pandavas silent, and then his vision to Krishna shifted all the way to the Pandavas. His eyes filled with tears. Oh, what can I say? Aho kashtam, aho ananyam, anyayam. So this is so simple. Aho kashtam, aho anyam. So he said, what kashtam you all had? What are that? Yeah, just a second. So you can be problems come upon you, had you just faced so many problems, and we discussed all those problems in Kunti Stuti itself, with so many problems you had to face, and in spite of these problems, you were not able to overcome it. How is this possible? Just okay. So how will I just got? No, I need that. It's okay. I have. So he says that aho kashtam, aho hanyam, and in spite of you, the Pandavas being so brilliantly valorous and having all the capacity to, you have the capacity to win the who's there with you, Bhishma and Arjuna, and the top men of the whole world, the strong, valiant person are there. How could you all undergo so many difficulties? What could be the problem of this? It is the only problem is because, yeah, 1 point, please. So this is how he was saying, but then he immediately pacified and he said, Kunti, you have suffered greatly after Pandu's death. So who could be blamed? Despite all the best that you can have in your life, that despite this bodily strength that you all have, who can be blamed? It is not your karma, Yudhishthir. Don't feel guilty, because Yudhishthir was feeling so guilty that he has been responsible for the death of so many people during the Kurukshetra war. So he was grieved, he was lamenting, he was so morose. He says, how am I? Even he says, even if I am, how can he says, like it is like how the muddy water cannot become clear if it is strained through the mud. It is like that, like how the stained glass or the wine stained glass cannot be washed with wine. That is my situation. I will get no atonement for the atrocity that was committed during the war. I think I'm a papi, I'm very sinful. How am I going to atone? So in that moroseful condition, immediately, Bhishma understood the feelings of of Yudhishthir, and he said, don't blame yourself. You are the embodiment of dharma. So you cannot be afflicted by dharma, law of karma. So therefore, it is not, it is only time. It is, therefore, it is said that how it is, the beautiful words Bhishma puts it, he says it is, 1 second. He says, yeah. He says it is only the Daiva Tantram, Deva. We say that Adi Atmikam, Adi Devikam. It is only the Lord's plan. It's the plan of Krishna that we have to undergo such difficulties, but because Krishna had a plan, it is only the time that has to be blamed, but it is not your karma that you're going to be, you're suffering like this. So don't worry. Please don't feel guilty about what you have done, because you have followed the orders of the Supreme Lord. Sakshat Bhagavan, he lays the rules and he makes us do all the activities, and that's how you have executed it perfectly. So don't worry at all. So Krishna here, therefore Bhishma says that he glorifies Krishna, saying that it is his wish that we all have to undergo such tribulations. So this is a very, very beautiful shloka that we have. It's worth learning, and that is why Eshavi Bhagavan Sakshat. It is verse number 9.18 of the first canto of Bhishma, where he says he's glorifying the Supreme Lord. एषा वै भगवन् साक्षात् आद्यो नारायणः पुमान् मोहयन् मायया lokam charati vrishnishu. So here, this Krishna, his pastimes are so bewildering that he is just moving casually with us like a common friend, like a cousin, like how we are just treating him so equal with him. So, but who is this? This Adi Narayana who's standing. It is because of his wish, his pleasure, that swasmai swapriti swayameva karyate. That's what Baba Ida says, that Krishna says, that I do activities that pleases me. That's how I go on with those activities. So this is how, it is all because of the wish of the Lord. Such things are happening, so nobody could be blamed for it. So don't worry, Yudhishthira, don't feel guilty. So we here, he says that we've been treating the Supreme Lord, who is our well-wisher, our as like a close friend, Eshavai Bhagavan Saksha. So, but he is still very gracious, and he is from also, therefore, he is still here present before us. So this is how we have to praise the Lord, and he is the absolute truth who is standing before for us. So let us praise him. And this is a very beautiful shloka also. Verse number 23 of the 9.23 is also very nice shloka where we can see this Supreme Lord who's Adi Narayana so casually standing here. He's the absolute truth. Here, so many various ways he keeps glorifying him. And then this is a beautiful shloka of verse 23 where we can just go on to it. Yeah. So this is the power of bhakti. So this is how it says. Bhaktyaveśya mano yasmin vacha yannama kirtayan yajan kalevaram yogi muchyate kama karma bhishi. So this is the power of bhakti yoga. This is how we have to learn. This is another wonderful shloka how Bhishma also makes sure that the personality of Godhead who appears in the mind of the devotee by attentive devotion. So this is the point that we have to say. The devotion should not be easily taken as something that, like how Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj used to jokingly say, Subhe ek incense, Sham ko ek incense, pura din nonsense. It is not that way. Devotion cannot be easily taken for granted. But the point is, who appears in the mind by attentive devotion. This is where we have to catch that point, how our chanting should be attentive. This is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all our acharyas, our gurus, Prabhupada, everybody has been emphasizing the chanting because the Lord has invested so much of power in those names, the form and their abhinnatvam namo namina. There is no difference between the name and the form of the Lord. Just by chanting the holy name releases the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activities at the time of quitting the material body. So, அப்போதைக்கே இப்போதே சொல்லி வச்சேன். So this is what is a phrase in Tamil. Just by, if we practice now to practice with devotion, with attention, then at the time of quitting the body, we will be able to remember the beautiful name of the Lord, the form of the Lord, just as how Bhishma is showing that we have to emulate the mood of Bhishma Pitamaha, that we have to prepare also ourselves to this sort of a situation. So this is the power of Bhakti Yoga is therefore beautifully described. And then he goes to, teach at this mood with a difficult situation, lying in the bed of arrows, not bothered about his bodily discomfort and being so happy to see the presence of Krishna. At the same time, he's also giving instructions to Yudhishthir how to do a Raja Dharma properly. So Bhima, he instructs Yudhishthir with Varnashrama Dharma, Vairagya Dharma, Raga Dharma, Dhana Dharma, Raja Dharma, Sri Dharma, Bhagavata Dharma, so many varieties of Dharma he instills, and he says this is the way, like that, like Ayodhya Pati Ram, like how Lord Rama is saying, you have to also give, instill the Dharma, be like a perfect righteous king. This is what is called, defined as a Raja Rishi. So therefore he gives that valuable instructions to Bhima, Bhishma Pitamaha gives those valuable instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So with that now comes the final conclusion how Bhishma now Yennama Vacha. So he now gets his mind now focused totally on the beautiful form. Let me invest my thinking, willing and feeling on the beautiful form of the Lord, the beauty of the Lord. So this is where we can see the beauty of the Lord, where we can see it is so nicely described in the verses 33 and 34. So nice it is. So we can just, I think the birds above in our villa is also trying to chant the glories of Krishna. They are making a lot of noise, which is hearing also to me. So I'll just come to this. Sorry for the little gap that I'm giving because just give me a minute. Sorry, Prabhu. Okay, let me try that. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. So, Tribhuvanakamanam Tamalavarnam Ravikara Gauravaram Ambaram Dadane Vapuralalaka Kulavrutananabjam Vitayasake Rastume Anavadhya. So therefore he starts to bring the focus and look at the beautiful form of the Lord. He says how beautiful you look, and how he looks. Krishna is just one shloka, and there are similar shlokas also. So Krishna is the intimate friend, Vijaya Sakhe, the friend of Arjuna, who has appeared on this here earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three plenary systems, upper, middle, and lower, and his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp be the object of my attraction. So this is how. So it is just not imaginary how Krishna looks. Where people sometimes think that God is imaginary and there is no form for the God. But here it's the proof to show how the Lord looks with the Trupuvana Kamanam Tamala Varnam Ravikara Gaura Varam Varam Dadhane. So this is the way how our Acharya. So Bhishma Pitamaha is nobody but one of the 12 Mahajanas who has glorified the Lord, and therefore we cannot think the form of the Lord is imaginary. So this is how our acharyas have left behind, and it has been recorded, and it is a itihas that we cannot say this is a mythology and just rub it off and brush it off. And there, just by the way our acharyas have perceived the Lord, we also have to imbibe it in our heart and not try to create our own ways of how the Lord looks. So this is a great learning for us, how Bhishma Pitamaha is glorifying the Supreme Lord, and how beautiful he looks. That he, even that when Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Krishna turned ashen, and he looked so beautiful. And how he looked, he as the dust that raised by the horses, went and stuck on the beautiful face of Shri Krishna. All that was so glittering, like how the ladies use something called the shimmer to make them look very glittery and beautiful. Automatically, the stand that raised by the hoofs of the horses went and stuck, and the curly hair and the decorations intensified by the wounds dealt by my share arrows were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna. So Mama Nishita Sharai Idibhyamana Vachit Vilasar Kavache Astu Krishna Atma. So this is how, and he was feeling so proud that he could shoot the arrows on Krishna, which also pierced Krishna's face, and blood was pouring from Krishna's face. Even that made him look so beautiful. What is not beautiful about Krishna? Adaram Maduram, Madanam Maduram, Nayanam. So therefore, and this is as it goes, the shloka just builds up so beautifully that every shloka of Bhishma Stuti is so beautiful that we can see that in the obedience. So I'm just skipping a few shlokas. Where is this beauty of Krishna? Gatotariya. Yes, shloka number 37 is such a beautiful shloka as he goes to develop the beauty of Krishna. The one thing that attracted the beauty of Krishna was this shloka, the beauty which attracted Bhishma, and that Bhishma always kept that in his mind and left his body, was this is the beauty. Swanigamam apahaya mat pratignyam ritam adhikartum avalupta ratastah ritarata charano abhyayachalad ariti vahantum ibham gatotariyah. So how beautiful gatotariyah, fulfilling my vow and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up his wheel and ran towards me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garment on the way. So that was a very beautiful sight that, that day Bhishma was crying. At that moment when the war was happening that day, the previous day, Duryodhana challenged Bhishma. Yeah, I know, Dadaji, you are very, very partial to the Pandavas. You are not fighting to your best. So therefore, that humility is not needed for a Kshatriya. And when somebody feels that he is humiliated by somebody, that is the feeling of Kshatriya. And Bhishma says, today I will make sure either Arjuna dies or I'll make the Lord lift his weapon and break his promise. So this is what, and Krishna immediately understood, oh, that is the desire of my devotee, then I should make this happen. So everything was pre-planned by the Lord. So therefore, at this point of time, that day Bhishma was fighting not like an 80-year-old person, but a light 18-year-old lad. He was just unleashing his arrows right, left, right. And at the moment, even Arjuna could not tackle it. It was a point of brink of moment that Arjuna was going to lose his life. And that made the Lord get very angry. Immediately, he just got down from his chariot and lifted the weapon. He was so angered even that anger is so beautiful. As we sing, Adaram Maduram, Madanam Maduram, Hasitam Maduram, Gamanam Maduram. What is not sweet about the Lord? Not only his smile, not only his blue color, not only his curly hair, not only his those ashes that is stuck in his face, even that anger on that Lord is so beautiful. Even the bhaya that the Lord appeared when he was doing the Damodarati, even that looks so beautiful. It attracted even Kunti after so many years. So what is not beautiful? So the purpose, maybe why did he drop that Tatotariya? Why did he drop this upper cloth? So he felt that the Krishna, when the minute he jumped out of his chariot, that it looked so beautiful, and his presence made he felt that the as the and the purpose why he felt that the because of anger, the upper cloth fell on the ground. So when he moved out of the chariot, he did not want. As long as Krishna was present with Arjuna, it looked the Krishna and Arjuna was always present. But the chariot, but the way he dropped his upper cloth, it was destroyed without the presence of Krishna. Or maybe he would have, the horses should not mistake, oh, my master has gone somewhere else. So they might have started to move out of the wrong place, and it could be dangerous position for Arjuna. So maybe by the presence, by the lack of that cloth on the chariot, it could give a confidence to Arjuna that he is very well protected. So the Lord is moving with such an anger, and Arjuna is pulling Krishna's leg, please, please, don't give up your anger, don't move so forward. The way he was dragging Arjuna, was being dragged by Krishna, was a beautiful sight. And Arjuna, Bhishma is crying, why didn't I give up my body? That was the sight that I was longing for. Why didn't he take me away that day? And at that moment, the war comes to an end, and Arjuna and Bhishma was seized. So maybe he felt that, thinking that Krishna, the presence of the Uttariya on the chariot, would make the enemies think that Krishna is present, and therefore nothing could happen to Arjuna. So these are the ways why Krishna decided to drop and in a mood of anger move forward, and that was an ultimate sign for this. So this is a very beautiful, and the ultimate destination was now as we are moving forward. So he felt that was how. I'll just come to the shloka very quickly. Yeah. So therefore, seeing that beautiful sight, let my Rati be on that Partha Sarathi by his merciful glance and shorten. What does he do? Just let my attraction on the Partha Sarathi be my constant attraction. What it is he do? Not only he protected Arjuna, but he also protected the lives of the people who are on who are as enemies contending on the opposite side. What did he do? He awarded them liberation. He shortened their lives, and they were all immediately planet by his merciful glance. May the object of my attraction be always at his Charanarati, at his lotus feet. So here, the Lord sacrificed his own promise, and he is ready to take care of me. So let my destination be Mukunda. So, and therefore, he was just there, and even the gopis, the Lord as this is called the real Samadhi, where our Rati should be on that Parthasarathi. So this is the real Samadhi where he Vijaya Sakhi, because he was always and how he was a great friend, and then he looked so beautiful holding the cords of the horses, the bridles of the horse, and with his right hand and the whip on his right hand, and the cords of the horse's left held on his left hand, looked like a beautiful sight. And he made, and it also looked, and at that moment of the Lord. So he used his arrow as a archana, so at which the Lord also accepted. Though these weapons wounded him, and there was blood that was shedding on the beautiful face of Krishna, yet Krishna accepted as beautiful roses, and that is how he is so merciful on the Supreme Lord. So this is how. So, and more than that, was the time was nearing where Bhishma had to give up his body, and at that moment he remembered the gopis also, who is the real epitome of bhakti, pure bhakti, the madhurya bhav, the gopis he remembered. Nevertheless, the Pandavas are also good devotees, but the gopis are the topmost devotees. So Krishna's movements, then they how the gopis always remembered Krishna by imitating his pastimes and movements. Navakantamritam tapta jivanam kaviviridikam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam Srimadattatam bhuvi grunante bhuida jana. Let how the gopis can remember. Let me also remember you, Krishna. Please I am worshipping the gopis to give me that power of remembrance, give me that power of attraction that I also have that. And how even while performing the Rajasuya Yajna, when Krishna helped Yudhishthira to perform the Rajasuya Yajna, Krishna was the cynosure of the place. He was the most attractive personality among the all and all the always attractive there, whoever it may be, however famous he can be, however beautiful he may be, but everything is Krishna's beauty. So therefore, nirvikalpaha samadhi, thus Bhishma with his mind, speech, right and actions absorbed himself in Krishna, became completely silent and stopped his breathing. So therefore, this and what to the end, Bhishma thus emerged, attended the liberation of Sarupya Mukti, and Sarupya Mukti is where he came to assume the four-armed forms of Vishnu, entered the planet of Vaikuntha. So where he was totally engaged in the eternal pastimes of Krishna because he remembered the beautiful form of Partha Sarathi. So what we have to understand from Bhishma is our Rati should be Partha Sarathi. So with this, I would like to conclude the extended session. I'm so sorry to all the organizers who have been very patient. I have to really take your pardon. And it was a big topic that was given to me. It is too immature for me to have it, but I thought that is the mercy of devotees and allow me to speak through the eyes of the scriptures. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we shall have one question, only one question. Hare Krishna. If anybody would like to ask, please. Hare Krishna.
My question, Sri Vallabh will answer.
No, you can answer. I will have a comment, Mataji. When you are speaking about Kunti and Bhishmadev, while my mind was absorbed in what you are describing beautifully, but I also remembered Shankar Mahadevan's Breathless song.
I thought SPB is also saying like that. Because I was so conscious of the time problem that I had to put everything in that.
So what a nice way of giving feedback.
Okay, sorry. I've been too fast. I know I've been getting those comments, but sometimes I know I will work on it. So sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the one question. Sorry. Somebody said he had a question to take. Sri Vallabh can answer them. I am not that capable.
Mataji, I don't have question. I just want to comment something.
Okay.
You know, it was your flow and enthusiasm was really adorable. It means you are so full of energy and knowledge that you want to share, and it was really nice experience for all of us.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your this. I take it as a blessing, so that I will be able to go on the right way of sharing the knowledge. Thank you so much. Yeah.